Good evening, folks. Welcome. I think we're ready to begin here. It's my pleasure to do the introductions. My name is Mike Sullivan. I'm the library director here, and I see a lot of very familiar faces. Welcome back. For anyone who's not a regular user, happy to be here. It's a very special evening. Kira Benjamin is a bit of a community treasure. And her relationship with Kingston goes back to when she was 9 years old and helped pour the foundation of a small family home right here in Kingston. Since then, she's lived far afield, Arizona, Iceland, even Kyoto, Japan for 18 years. Has done an amazing number of things with her life. Currently teaches textile arts, Japanese surface design at Mass College of Arts. She is the contemplative arts person at Ariloka Buddhist Center in Newmarket. She was ordained into the Triratna Buddhist order in the mountains of Spain. She does a number of other things, including running our meditation programs here at the library. We always have meditation. It happens every week here. Come see us, and we'll let you know how to join up and when to find us. Tonight she's got a very special topic. She spent a year in New Zealand where she sat quietly on a cushion. I've commented to everyone, I can't imagine sitting quietly for an hour. This is something very, very special. So please help me welcome Kira Benjamin.
I'm still pouring footings over there on 2nd Street. This library is a treasure, as many of you have found. I came a little bit earlier and walked around a bit. So I'm delighted to be here, and I'm going to use the microphone also. Here's hoping. And then you'll be able to hear me better? Yes, I think so. I can have a loud voice, but I've gone through 3 months of acclimating back here, and in the first week, lost my voice 3 times. So I've been struggling, and I think just in the past week or two, my voice is really what it used to be. Yeah. So it's great. It's great to be here. Great to be back too. So I have some things to share with you. You know, when I told people I was thinking of doing this, and some of you were here, I think in April of a year and a half ago, 18 months ago, and everybody said, well, that's great, but what we want to do is hear what you have to say when you come back. And I always said, yeah, I want to hear what she has to say when she comes. I was terrified. What would I have anything to say? I didn't know after I'd been quiet for a year. So, but it seems like I've been doing a lot of sharing, which is terrific. So I have a little bit of a talk, and then I have some slides for you, and I'm not going to talk when those are on. I have only music for you, if I can coordinate with one hand and the other hand, and etc. So great to see friends here in the audience. So, sharing with you, the practice of solitary retreat has been an essential feature of practice lineages since the time of Buddha. It is in solitude that individual retreatants meet themselves in the most complete way. Reginald Ray said that. Jesus did it, Buddha did it, Mohammed did it. The experiences and writing of Henry David Thoreau, Robert Stroud, and Jetsunga Tenzin Palmo, among many others, all helped to get me into that hut in New Zealand for a year. Some of those people you're familiar with, some you may not be, but you will be soon. In 1845, Henry David Thoreau, my guy, an American hermit or retreatant from Massachusetts, where I am from, walked out of Concord to nearby Walden Pond at the age of 28 and borrowed an axe and built a small 10-foot by 15-foot hut for $28, where he lived in seclusion for 2 years. As a teenager, I had read his writings, and the assessment of what I too saw around me resonated with me, even then. The masses live lives of quiet desperation. What is called resignation is confirmed desperation. I myself wanted an intentional life, to live all my years to the fullest. I keep getting older and older, and they get fuller and fuller. Another inspiration in my teen years was Robert Stroud, a somewhat violent genius who was placed in solitary confinement for 43 years in both Leavenworth and Alcatraz. You would know him as the Birdman of Alcatraz, someone who accomplished extraordinary things in solitude. I met with the men at the prison 2 weekends ago, and I told them that I did this because of them, because way back when I was a teenager, I saw that Birdman of Alcatraz movie and said, someday I want to do that. Hopefully not by going to prison. So a few years back, I thought, I'm getting old, I better set this up soon. So they were an inspiration to me, what they go through, and Robert Stroud was as well. And also Tenzin Palmo, a British woman by birth, ordained in a Tibetan order at 21, who lived in a cave for 12 years at 13,000 feet in the Himalayas, surviving the last 3 years in complete silence. What do I do? What did I do? I lived in a small hut, a bit larger than Thoreau's Walden Pond hut, for just under 12 months, arriving in July of 2014, just in time for a glorious full moon, one of 3 supermoons that seemed to follow me to New Zealand. The people there said, this is a little miracle too. And I said, yeah. My hut was one of 5 solitary abodes, serviced and cared for by the Sudarshana Loka community staff in the Coromandel Peninsula of the North Island, and just 10 or 15 miles drive from a gold rush village of Thames. Some of you know New Zealand, others don't. I think it's 10,000 miles away from here. It's the other side of the world in many ways. My hut, significantly named Abaya, or fearless hut, was one of the oldest and the furthest out from the community house, which was far below in the Tararu Valley. The community house had a small Buddhist library, and it was a special day for me when once a month I would walk down 45 minutes along a very rough road to exchange books and to backpack others back up to my hut. I reread every book 3 times, some of them 4 times. Before I went, I had never reread any book, but there wasn't a lot around to read, so. I was perched on a precipice with drops in front and to the left and to the right that carried a really tangled, dense, and impenetrable bush all the way down to that river, which I could hear roaring, especially after heavy rains. And there were lots and lots of rains. My view was vast and wide, with cloud movement, all part of my daily life. I could see pastures on the far, far ridge, and occasionally 5 cattle. I thought they were cows, but I looked so carefully. No udders. They were just cattle. Yeah, right. It was really exciting when the cattle got out there, and I got my binoculars out and looked for the tail swish. And further up the valley, there was another building right on the crest there, and I would see something white up there, and it looked like a letter M. And later I realized, after hours and hours of watching that tiny letter M, I realized it was a white horse that stood there quietly from 8:30 in the morning till 8 o'clock at night, hardly moving. One time he started moving off to the side, and I'm down there in that fountain yelling, "Go for it, go for it, yo!" I couldn't see any fence around him, but I was so excited. He was taking off right over. I go, "Whoa!" I think I'd been there 8 months at that point. Excitement. I'm grabbing my water bottle. How to get a little water and hold the mic. Life on the ridge. What that horse did for me was teach me patience and perseverance. If he could stand there for 12 hours every day, maybe I could sit for half of that time, maybe 6 hours or so. I had an indoor composting toilet. It wasn't really indoors. I had to go out in order to go into it. And I had 2 giant rainwater cisterns for drinking water. I had a 2-burner gas stove, a solar-powered light bulb for reading, a shrine, and a lovely small table for artwork, and one chair for reading and one chair for sitting in front of doing my artwork. I painted that second chair with Om Mani Padme Hum mantras all over it, and there's a photograph of it over here for you to take a look at my artwork. I did many Mani rock paintings too, again, Tibetan text with that mantra painted on the rocks, and I kind of dispersed all 53 of them around the land. Many of them were scattered over the 250 acres, finding their way up to the Darto Rinpoche stupa, which I visited often for circumambulations and for meditation sessions. It was great to have one place to go to. Yeah. I wrote almost every day. I spent much time just reflecting, watching clouds burst, build up, and disperse. I was alone. I was quiet. No TV. No internet. No contact with outside. No friends to meet for a chat or for tea. I did not speak. I whispered my mantras and my prayers. I meditated about 6 hours a day. There were no meal deliveries. I baked orange walnut date scones once a week in my Coleman camp oven. What a gift that was. I completed a food list every Tuesday and left it in a bush box on the trail. And the next day I packed home the items that I hoped were in stock down in Thames. I had no refrigerator and no ice. So I learned what foods would last a week, and that is what I ate. I ate a lot of things 4 days in a row so they didn't go bad. I learned to let go of preferences. I had an outdoor metal bush tub that I filled with rainwater. It was heated with 2 gas burners underneath, and there I soaked under the glorious skies on the high ridge of the valley, sometimes with a quail that perched up on the edge by my toes. They have California quail, they brought them in, so they were my buddies. I watched them grow up from little puffballs into large guys in 6 months. Yeah. It was not always peaceful and serene, as some would guess. Often the winds howled and the moorings shook. I was often cold and hungry. But it was a time of deep reflection. Some of the rough times came when the rat fell into the loo hole. You know what a loo is, okay? And my clothes and my hair got full of lice. You know what lice are? Oh, yeah. Where did they come from? But I was always exceedingly happy to have this time and the grand support and help of so many to help me to follow through on this lifetime dream of a year in silence. I have done 8 solitary retreats now over 9 years, and some of you have heard about these a bit. My first experience was in 2006, alone for 2 weeks in Java. Was it in Java? Yeah. In a room of the, no, it wasn't in Java, it was in Thailand. In the nuns' quarters, sleeping on a beach mat on the tiled floor. Beach mats are very thin. I was more than 60. I did solitary retreats in Wales with 200 sheep and a shepherd passing through every 2 or 3 days, at a Theravadan monastery in Java, where the Muslim chants over loudspeakers start at 3 a.m., blaring from 4 mosques that just happened to circle the Buddhist temple. I did 2 retreats in a quieter monastery in northern Bali, where I was bitten by that rabid dog the first year, and then came back the second year to see if, to kind of defuse the situation and to see if the blood was washed off the wall, and it was. So I was also on a month solitary retreat in Mexico, where I sent metta, loving kindness, to the barking dogs over the wall and quieted them down within 2 minutes, 5 out of 7 times. Wow. All opportunities for growth. It is Tenzin Palmo who writes of solitary